Mjolnir her, boy! Mjolnir? Mjolnir! You're back. Mjolnir!
There's a maniac who seeks to end us all. We have to stop him.
Are you packed? Yes. A hand grenade? No, it's a portable speaker.
On July 8th, another classic Thor adventure. And flick. Oh, you flicked too hard, damn it!
Shall we help him? And eventually, grape.
Welcome back, everyone. This will be my brand new Thor Love and Thunder trailer video. There's a whole bunch of new footage. We'll break it all down. Because Thor Love and Thunder is also coming out in theaters really soon, we're doing a giveaway for IMAX tickets. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and just post all your theories about the movie on the video. Also, name a giveaway winner later during this video, too. I know a lot of you are asking about Zeus, Hercules. Is Thor more powerful in this movie? Is Odin more powerful than Zeus? Like, what are the power levels of all these different god characters? The funny connection between Thor and Hercules is that they can actually increase their power levels through cosmic trials. They kind of did that recently with the Hercules character in a big arc called the Chaos War. But the way they play the Hercules character in the comics, his personality is very similar to Thor's personality. But we've never seen him in the Marvel movies before, but the fact that they're doing Zeus and it seems like Gorr is going to kill him off during the course of the movie just provides this really easy in for an arc for a Hercules character in the MCU. So you can post all your theories about what they might do with Hercules in a future MCU arc. But just starting at the beginning, the new clip starts with Thor versus Gorr's minions. We've learned a little bit more about where he's coming from in the movie. It's a little bit different from the comics.
We're in the Shadow Realm.
How'd you know?
The atmosphere there has a darkness like no other. It's as if color fears to tread. It's unmistakable.
There was a separate clip where Thor talks about the Shadow Realm, which is like an alternate dimension made up of pure shadows, where he says color literally fears to tread, which sort of connects with some of the trailer footage too, where they're all fighting later in the movie and you see the only color is coming off the god tier weapons or the gods themselves like Thor. Like Thor is giving off color because it's his god tier energy. And in the background, you can see these black creatures sort of writhing like they're minions from this alternate dimension that Gorr has been using. Also kind of confirming that's where the power of the Necro Sword comes from too, like he gets it from the Shadow Realm. But then he gets the second costume upgrade, like you can see him change his appearance using his power, where he slams Stormbreaker down. That's a bit of a magic enchantment. If it wasn't clear, Thor can also wield magic the same way that Odin did, the same way that Loki did. He's just much less learned in magic than Loki. So like Loki just knows a bunch of spells that he doesn't know. And he also pretends to be a little bit dumber than he actually is. Valkyrie comes to get him. They have all those funny scenes with the goats. There's also a bit of an Easter egg we learned about that during Guardians of the Galaxy 3. They're having a holiday special later this year. James Gunn confirmed that the goats come back during the holiday special. Like there's some funny moments with the Guardians of the Galaxy having to deal with the goats. Like Korg makes all the jokes about how they just do nothing but scream and cause trouble. So he comes back to New Asgard. Gorr's minions attack from the Shadow Realm. You see them fighting all these characters all over the place. Everything is going crazy. And he sees that Mjolnir has come back for some reason, trying to call it to himself, but not being able to. And they have the big reveal of Jane Foster calling it to her. Like it destroys one of these shadow minions, then comes to her hand. He sees her for the first time, doesn't know that it's Jane Foster right away. That's why you hear him saying, excuse me, like he's getting ready to run up and ask her what the hell's going on. But then she uses Mjolnir's new power that it's gained as it's reformed. Like she has this area of effect attack where the hammer basically breaks into a bunch of pieces. And then because one of the hammer's trademark abilities is coming back when someone calls it back to them, the pieces come back and reform to the regular hammer. Because of the way the trailer footage plays out, presumably Thor upgrades again to his battle armor like the blue gold armor with the full helmet. They finish off the rest of these minions and then he runs up to Jane Foster's Thor asking what the hell's going on, and she takes the helmet off and he realizes that it is Jane Foster. Side note too, in the background of this shot you can see a tavern named the Black Raven, obviously named after Odin's ravens. And in the comics those aren't actual ravens, but he uses those as devices to just monitor what's going around the different 9 realms. There are probably jokes like this in the building names all over New Asgard. There are a lot of funny moments in the other clips that they just released where Thor keeps trying to call Mjolnir back to himself, like, come here, come to daddy. Like, he calls the hammer all kinds of funny things. Like, first he talks to it like it's a dog, like, here, Mjolnir, whistling to it like you would to a pet. And they have the funny moment with Stormbreaker showing up like, oh yes, I totally meant to call you Stormbreaker. I wasn't trying to call my old hammer. If it weren't clear, Stormbreaker isn't meant to be sentient in the movies. Mjolnir does have a consciousness in the comics though, but I think the way they played it in the movies, the hammer is not alive. And I think during this movie, one of the reasons why he can't pick it up or call it to himself is all about Gorr's storyline with believing that the gods are unworthy and don't care about their subjects, and Thor, at least at the beginning of the movie, not really knowing what his purpose is and having this existential crisis. Like, he hasn't literally become unworthy, he just kind of confused about his true purpose, and the confusion is what's causing him to not be able to pick up Mjolnir. Even though they don't have footage of it in the trailer here too, Jamie Alexander's Sif is back. She was at the premiere talking about coming back, like, yay, Sif is back. And she came back during the Loki series for that big cameo scene. It was really funny. Obviously, like a slightly different iteration of the character because of the way they played it. She also came back to voice her character during the What If series because there was an episode that had the Warriors 3, so Sif was in one of the episodes. But the way that Jamie Alexander talked about it, Sif is back for good. Like, she will survive the end of this movie and show up in future Thor or New Asgard related projects or anything that involves the character. So a lot of you asking, what's she doing in the movie and where was she during Thor Ragnarok, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame? Did Sif get snapped? Where has she been this whole time? The funny story about why Sif is still alive is actually a bit of a coincidence because when Taika Waititi was making Thor Ragnarok, there was a scene where Hela comes back to New Asgard, and what was going to happen is they were going to kill off the entire Warriors 3, like Hela was going to mow through them to show you how badass she was. So originally, Taika Waititi was going to kill off Jamie Alexander's Sif character during that scene, like she was going to be part of that fighting Hela and she was going to die. But when they were actually shooting the movie, Jamie Alexander had a schedule conflict because she was working on a different TV show and she just physically could not get herself to set to film those scenes. So that's how Sif survived the events of Thor Ragnarok. And regardless of whether or not you think she got snapped, she was not in that giant scene of all the Avengers sort of flying across frame fighting Thanos' army during the final battle. And I think the reason for that is just because they felt like there were too many people. Like, they tried to include as many characters as possible. Like, there were a lot of people that were not in that scene that could have been. So I think the idea during Thor Love and Thunder is that when she comes back, they'll just say that she was off doing other things when all that was going down, like she was busy with other problems. And I was just talking about Kit Harington's Black Knight because they just announced this big Game of Thrones Jon Snow sequel series. He's still the Black Knight in the MCU. But the really cool thing about her winged horse, Aragorn, is that winged horse was actually given to her, at least in the comics, by Dane Whitman's Black Knight. Obviously, in the MCU, the backstory is a little bit different. Like, she has no interaction with the Black Knight character that we know of. And it sounds like Odin just created all these winged horses and gave them to his Valkyrie Corps. They have that funny scene with Zeus at the Godhead again, the shot of all the other gods in the background. There are many, many gods in there from every single culture. I know a lot of you are asking, how do they exist? Who are all the gods? What are they doing during the movie? Is this just a glorified kill box scene to set up Gorr the God Butcher coming up and killing a lot of these? Why didn't they help out with Thanos during Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame? That there is probably most of the reason why Gorr is going around killing all these gods. We lost half the universe and you did nothing. And a lot of times the way they explain the power of most gods is that they just have the abilities and the powers that their followers believe that they have. Like, the power of their belief brings them into creation. But gods themselves can also have biological children. There's a big storyline during the Gorr comics where he goes back in time to try and kill like the original Elder God to get the most amount of power from gods that he could possibly get. I don't think they're going to do that in the movie exactly, but the way that the comics explain it is that with each new generation of gods, like their children, their children's children, and so on and so forth, the god tier cosmic power that gets passed along gets diluted over time. So billions and billions of years later in present day, you have all these different gods that have come from just a few elder gods, and their powers become so diluted now that Gorr the God Butcher, the Necro Sword, is powerful enough to go around killing them. They actually reference the elder gods during Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Chthon, the god of chaos, is one of the elder gods.
Eons ago, the first demon, Chthon, carved his dark magic into this tomb.
Now, he's not part of the original group of elder gods, he's just part of one of the oldest groups of gods, so he had way more power than the gods that you see today. The whole story behind what happened to those really old elder gods is actually tied up in the creation of Omnipotent City. Like billions of years ago, all these gods had their own version of a god tier Avengers Endgame event where they all fought war with each other, bunch of people died off, reality was almost destroyed. Eventually, the ones that were left alive called a truce, and to mark the truce, they created Omnipotent City, which was meant to be a city of fellowship amongst all the gods. So that's why in present day, you see all these different gods here as part of the Godhead meeting talking about what to do about Gorr the God Butcher. Probably right before he shows up to kill Zeus. Just to explain who the most powerful god is here in this room, like Thor can become more powerful, but he has to go through a bunch of cosmic trials, and that happens during the Gorr comics. It also happens during the Rune King Thor comics, which is sort of like a completely separate thing. Like, just because you're a god doesn't mean you're locked at a certain power level. Gods can become more powerful either through the artifacts that they wield or the cosmic trials that they go through. But like, for instance, in the comics, Odin is meant to be way more powerful than Zeus because of the Odin Force. But the movies seem like they're trying to play that a slightly different way. Like, Zeus is supposed to be super OP, like he flicks too hard, and that whole scene is supposed to be ridiculous and funny, just to set up how badass Gorr is with the Necro Sword when he comes in and just completely rolls over Zeus. It'll be fun to see how many Easter eggs for the Gorr storyline they included in the comics. I know there's a lot of questions people have, like, are they going to do anything with Null, the Necro Sword, the All Black? I'm not expecting a ton of Null stuff in this movie. I think it'll be mostly just Gorr and Mighty Thor storyline stuff. But if you spotted any other Easter eggs in the trailer that I didn't talk about in the video, just write them below in the comments. And I do have a couple more Doctor Strange 2 deleted scene videos that I'll post in the next couple of days, so make sure you have alerts enabled for my channel so you don't miss those. Congratulations, Code Khalil, you're the giveaway winner from my last big Marvel video. Please email me on the About page of my channel or my website so I can get your contact details. Everyone click here to learn about the really cool Doctor Doom Easter egg and deleted scenes during Doctor Strange 2, and click here for my Thor Love and Thunder Celestials trailer video and Easter eggs. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.